Well, good morning, everybody. Hey, my name is James Croft. Some of my friends call me James the Giant. That's the name I got way back when I used to work at the radio station here in McClenny, back many years ago, and it's just kind of stuck with me everywhere I've went since then. I want to tell you a little bit about myself this morning. I'm running for County Commission in District Number 1, which is the district that includes Sanderson, Olustee, and the Margaretta areas. And of course, we get to run countywide, so it doesn't matter where in Baker you live, you have the opportunity to cast a vote in our race, and we will be on everybody's ballot, no matter which party you're affiliated with. So everybody gets a chance at it. Well, maybe I shouldn't say I grew up in Olustee, because I didn't grow up very tall, did I? But anyway, I got older in Olustee. That's basically where I was raised, and during that time, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. And got a lot of their values, and I think that's where I really picked up on being a conservative morally, conservative with my money, because they had lived through hard times, and so I just learned a lot from them, going to the family reunions and doing things that nowadays we don't even think about. I don't know if you remember the old cemetery workings they used to have, where you'd go to the cemetery, there'd be a day, and you'd go clean tombstones, and you'd always have a big lunch, and so I was involved in things like that. Family reunions, always a big thing with our family. And so that's the kind of environment that I grew up in. Also, my grandfather was the first game warden that was out on the Osceola National Forest. His name was Johnny Croft, and then my dad, who was Johnny Croft Jr., worked for the U.S. Forest Service. So I have a great appreciation for our natural resources and for the beauty of our county, because my family worked and made their living on the Osceola National Forest. That's why when I see issues that come up before the County Commission on things like the medical waste incinerator and the sand mining issues, I get very concerned about that, because I wouldn't want anything to come into this county that will harm our environment or our ecosystem or damage our water supply. Those of you who have lived here a long time, you know how valuable and precious a good water system is, and being able to have a well that's functional and operational all the time. And so that concerns me. After I left working at the radio station, I have served on the County Commission. I was in the County Commission from 1984 to 1988, and then from that I went to New River Solid Waste Association, which is a regional authority made up of Baker, Bradford, and Union counties, and we handle the recycling programs. In fact, I started the county's first recycling programs for the citizens to participate in. We also have a regional landfill, and so I've always tried to use vision of how can we do something by cooperating with someone else and at the same time save money. So we were able to get 3 counties to come together to fund something that was going to be astronomical cost that we couldn't have afforded by ourselves, and that way then we could all work together on it, and it has worked. So I spent 17 years there with New River Solid Waste. I tell people I was a professional trash talker. That I actually got to go around and talk trash all the time. It was trash that goes into the landfills and recycling, but that's still a type of trash to be talking. Since that time, I've also been in ministry, and many of you know me from when we come here to Wells and we bring our shoebox gifts right after Christmas each year, and we call them our joy boxes. And a couple of you have already reminded me of that this morning and wanting to know would we be doing that again, and absolutely the ministry will be doing that as we get closer to Christmas again this year. I would certainly appreciate your prayerful consideration as you decide who you're going to vote for. I believe that I have the experience, not just because I served on the commission before, but because I have over 20 years of experience handling governmental budgets, and so that's not something that you just pick up on so easily. So I'm very experienced with that. I have a great concern for our resources here in our county. I have a great concern not only for the young people, but for the senior citizens. Again, through the value system that I have gathered as I was growing up. And so I would certainly appreciate your vote. I'll be available if there's any questions afterwards, and if you want to talk with me. And I don't want to cut into anyone else's time, but I'll be more than happy to answer you any of your questions and talk with you then. So I would surely appreciate you giving consideration to James the Giant Croft. In fact, it's going to be on the ballot as James the Giant Croft. That's how it's going to be listed. So that'll help you remember it. And on my signs, I've been putting Stand with the Giant. So I certainly hope you will stand with the giant when you go to vote next week. I appreciate it. Thank y'all, and God bless you.